Hi friends, it's such a pleasure to have you with us today for our half-hour journey through the pages of another informative weekend edition of Jamaica Magazine. I'm your host, Adrian Atkinson. Coming up, we head on the Western Roundup Trail, get health-wise about bladder cancer, and give space to things concerning our youth. It's an interesting mix and every feature is worth your time, so sit back and relax because it all unfolds right after this important message.
The following is brought to you by the Office of the Prime Minister.
The best indicator of Jamaica's capacity in managing the health system would be the number of beds that we have. And we have to be very careful about how we as a country loosen our measures, because very rapidly this virus could spread and the number of beds that we have could easily be used up. That would throw us into a crisis. It was not so long ago, in February, that we approached that crisis level. We do not want to get there again.
The proceeding was brought to you by the Office of the Prime Minister.
In today's bi-weekly segment of Western Roundup, team member Nikita Sterling captures scenes from the reopening of the Falmouth port and visits with Hanover residents engaging in a solid waste management project. Buckle up. The journey starts now.
Falmouth Port reopens its pier to thousands of cruise ship passengers, and residents of Chambers Pen in Hanover participate in a solid waste reduction program. These are all we have lined up for you today on Western Roundup. Stay with us. It promises to be good. Following a near 20-month hiatus, the coastal town of Falmouth Trelawney welcomed its first cruise ship on Sunday, November 14. Carnival Corporation's Emerald Princess, with some 2,780 passengers and crew members, entered Jamaica's largest port, a clear signal to stakeholders and residents that a return to some semblance of normalcy is on the horizon.
We are happy to be receiving this ship after such a long time. It's actually maybe 2 years, almost 2 years since the ship came here, port. And we are happy that the life has finally been brought back, because as you will know, we are always a sleepy little town, and so we are happy for a ship coming in.
Following routine checks and ensuring strict adherence to health protocols, passengers were allowed to disembark and board waiting buses for approved tours. One stop was the Falmouth Artisan Village. Though not officially opened, visitors got a prelude of what Jamaica's first artisan village will be, and like the visitors, the artisans themselves were impressed.
Being a part of the artisan village, I consider it as a great opportunity for my community group and for Trelawney at large, because since COVID, things have been stagnant and it's a welcoming venture, and I really appreciate the effort they are making, the Tourism Enhancement Fund, in including community groups as a part of their artisan village to promote local crafts.
Being at the Artisan Village really allows us to get on the international platform, which is where we really want to be. So by being a part of it, it allows us to understand the tourism market. It makes the tourists appreciate our products a little bit more. I was a little hesitant at first, but I see where there's a lot of growth in it, and I'm excited for the experience.
I believe the Tourism Enhancement Fund initiative to create this space for local artisans will be a great one, and this is the moment that after the pandemic, we chose to be on board with this platform. It will grow my business, it will help me to reach more clients, and it's in a safe space.
Celebrity Equinox, Ida Diva, and Crystal Serenity have all called on Falmouth since the arrival of Emerald Princess. Disney Cruise Line's flagship vessel Disney Fantasy is scheduled to visit in December. Meanwhile, over in Hanover, community members and farmers living in Chamberspen will have the opportunity to win various prizes following the launch of the National Solid Waste Management Authority Western Parks and Markets Solid Waste Reduction Program. The pilot program, which is being executed in the form of a composting and plastic bottle separation competition, has generated a buzz among the residents.
This is Harvey River, this is where I live, and I need to keep a clean environment. As a farmer, you know, it motivates me a lot. This meeting here today motivates me a lot, and I give God thanks for it, because I need something like this to come around here from a long time.
In the meantime, residents are being urged to take advantage of the program to reduce waste and keep their environment clean.
Residents, a clean environment is essential for healthy living. Therefore, let us all grab this opportunity with both hands and show everyone that we care about the cleanliness of the environment.
There will also be an education component where community members and farmers are taught how to compost. Thanks for sticking around to the end. We hope you enjoy the program. As usual, thanks for joining us for Western Roundup, where we take you from the corners of St. Elizabeth to the hilly terrains of St. Anne. Remember to send your feedback to jismobe@jis.gov.gm. Until next time, take care.
For those of us who do not believe that COVID is real and that it is here, have you been to one of those hospitals where the wards are overflowing with patients who are trying to breathe and talk at the same time, but find it so impossible to do so? Or have you seen someone die in front of you, trying to make the next breath to stay alive? So my fellow Jamaicans and colleagues, whether you believe it or not, COVID is real. So I implore you, social distance. Wash your hands, wear your mask, sanitize. Along with that, we need to keep our immune system nice and healthy, so you drink lots of water, eat your fruits and vegetables. But whether we believe it or not, COVID is here, it is here to stay, it's going to be the new norm. And remember, when you behave irresponsible, you expose all of us. So do the responsible thing.
Regular health checkups are important to ensure your body is operating as it should, including important organs like the bladder. Today's HealthWise segment explores the symptoms, cause and treatments for cancer of the bladder. Please watch and take heed.
According to the World Health Organization's World Health Ranking, someone in Jamaica is more likely to lose their life from prostate cancer, lung cancer, breast cancer, stomach, cervical, liver, uterine, and even ovary cancer before they'll ever go from bladder cancer. Now, the rarity of this illness drafted local statistics at 0.34% of the total number of deaths in the island in 2018. That's only 62 people. But of course, that's 62 people too many, and maybe, just possibly, 62,000 people not having ever heard of this disease until now.
So the bladder is a small muscular organ that is in the pelvis, deep down in the pelvis. Its purpose is really to store urine. Now, cancer, as has been said before, it refers to the unregulated abnormal growth of cells, and in this case it would be the bladder. So bladder cancer is unregulated growth, usually from the lining of the bladder, that is abnormal cell growth. So the signs and symptoms of bladder cancer, usually the commonest sign is usually hematuria. Now what hematuria is blood in the urine. So usually it's painless hematuria, maybe painful hematuria, which is pain along with blood in the urine. Also, there may be irritative bladder symptoms, or as we would say, storage, lower urinary tract symptoms. Some of these include urgency, frequency, going to the bathroom frequently, waking up often at nights, it's known as nocturia, and in general, some dysuria, which is like burning when you pass your urine.
Now, before you experience any of those symptoms, there are some causative factors that lead to bladder cancer that you may want to assess first. It simply means that while it happens, it's usually preventable.
The commonest causative factor for bladder cancer is cigarette smoking. It's actually associated with about 50 to 60% of bladder cancers. There are other risk factors which are known as occupational hazards. So individuals who work in the industries and have prolonged exposure to aromatic amines, aromatic hydrocarbons. So in the textile industry, painters, those who work with tar, amongst other occupational hazards, are at risk for bladder cancer. Patients who also have, for whatever reason, they'll have chronic irritation to the bladder. So there's a parasitic infestation known as schistosomiasis that's really associated with bladder cancer also. Patients who have chronic catheters, indwelling catheters, as well as bladder stones and a few other things that cause chronic irritation to the bladder.
Now, bladder cancer is very picky when it comes down to gender, with the likelihood of displaying its sprouting behavior on men more often than women. And while the data shows that you don't necessarily need to be thinking about this until you're well over your 40s, there is proof that it affects many of us who are nowhere near to collecting our pension. Wow.
The older you become is the more at risk you are. Usually not before the age of 40 that bladder cancer is seen. It's more common in the 5th to 6th decades of life. 5th, 6th, 7th decades of life. It's actually more common in men than women, and this is thought to be associated with lifestyle amongst other things. Bladder cancer is very treatable. In fact, most bladder cancers present as organ-confined disease, meaning that they're absolutely curable. The treatment options include definitely surgery. This involves what is known as a transurethral resection of the bladder to actually get diagnosis, and in some cases is curative if the tumor is completely gotten. This involves passing instruments through the urethra, which is the opening through which you pass urine from the bladder, and that allows us to see the tumor. It allows us to resect or scrape the tumor away from the bladder wall, and in some cases we may or may not give intravesical immunotherapy or chemotherapy depending on the risk of the disease. But that's usually how bladder cancer is initially treated.
So now may be a good time to just pause for a bit and think about the causes, signs and symptoms of bladder cancer. And if you've been treated from it before, remember to get your regular checkups, because bladder cancer has a high recurrence rate. Watching from the sidelines or the confines of a bed can be a bit of a sting for some, piercing for others. So let's go stronger and healthier together by prioritizing our health.
Bad bacteria we can't stop fight. Antibiotics, take them right. Antibiotics, antibiotics. Come let me tell you how to take them right. Only take them from professionals with medical credentials. Do not share them with friends or relations. Use prescriptions, follow instructions. Take them till them done with no interruptions. Bad bacteria we can't stop fight. Antibiotics, take them right.
Brought to you by the UWI Mona, Ministry of Health, National Health Fund, PAHO WHO.
The Registrar General's Department has the important responsibility of maintaining a civil registry for the recording of vital events such as births, marriage and deaths, as well as court decrees and legal instruments. The RGD, as most of us know it, is transforming and modernizing its services to increase efficiency and improve customer satisfaction. Let's see how that has been going.
Its genesis is 1664, when all registers containing transcripts of births, baptisms, marriages, and deaths were kept by the Church of England. Fast forward to 1879, when the Registrar General's Department, RGD, was established in Spanish Town at the Rodney Memorial Buildings. Today, the RGD is an executive agency, and it operates starkly different from its early days.
We started out with one location, but we quickly realized that that wasn't something that was sustainable. So we have expanded our locations, and we have expanded to the point where we now have 9 branch offices. I would also like to add that we have what we call registration centers located in Trelawney, in St. Mary, in St. Thomas, and also in Hanover. So essentially, the RGD has a physical presence right across the island. We also have our mobile services. So our mobile unit allows us the opportunity to bring the services to these customers who would otherwise find it difficult or challenging to come into our physical locations. I also want to speak about our locations in the digital space, right? Because we are online. The RGD has been online for a number of years now, where customers can actually log on to our website and apply for birth, death, marriage certificates, etc. We have a mantra since 2020, when I started. It's called Digitally Bold, and we are vigorously pursuing initiatives within a digital space that will provide ease of access and greater efficiency to our customers in a modern society. In 2001, I believe, we started issuing computer-generated certificates. These was an upgrade to the prior black and white certificates, because these certificates now, the computer-generated ones, are printed on security paper with several security features embedded in them, and that enabled third-party users to authenticate the genuine nature of the certificates.
The impact and results of the implemented changes are evident, as the words being echoed are ease of access, convenience, and greater efficiency.
The RGD representative came to me when I just had baby. She asked me what was the baby's name, what was my name, where did I live, and all of that information about me. And she asked me what was the father's name of the child. She told me he had to come and sign the paper, the document, and later that day he came, signed the document and everything. She gave me a piece of white paper and told me that at a later date I can apply for the original birth certificate for free. It was very convenient and very simple and very easy. I really like the simple process.
The RGD thought that if we were able to go to where the mothers were giving birth, right, and offer the registration at that time, then it would improve our coverage numbers. And that was what we realized. Our coverage numbers jumped to upwards of 97%. That's where we are now.
You know, with the marriage certificates, though, you have to wait to ensure that your officiant has submitted their part of the receipt to the Registrar General's Department. Once we knew that that was done, I was able to just go online, enter the information that we were given, you know, pay for my 2 copies online, and then go and collect. I really, really enjoyed the convenience and ease of using the online application services available from the Registrar General's Department.
In 2020, we doubled, right? Let me repeat that. We doubled the number of services that we offer online, right? This was largely, I would say largely, because of the COVID-19 pandemic, but out of every adversity comes some opportunity, and we seize the opportunity to expand our online service delivery offerings. So at this point, I'm happy to say the entire RGD team, we are all in modernization mode with a digital focus. The future looks bright for the RGD, the future looks bright for civil registration. We have a number of initiatives coming on stream. I want to say that we intend to be offering digital birth certificates in short order. Another major initiative, and something I am personally excited about, is the linking of vital events. Now, when we link a vital event, what we are doing is explicitly linking someone's birth to their marriage and ultimately to their death. So we're always trying to satisfy our customers. Ideally, what I want is customers to be able to do business with their RGD from the comfort of their living room. What are we talking about here? A first-class customer service experience.
The Registrar General Department's growth and development has impacted its customers in a positive way. It continues to improve on accessibility and efficiency, with even more plans in place for the future of Jamaica and Jamaicans, at home and abroad.
We need all Jamaicans to know that child abuse is not just an issue for the government, it's an issue for all Jamaicans. So we need everybody to help us to protect our children. If you know of a child who is being victimized, a child who is abused or neglected, just make that report so we can get that child the help they need. Calling or reporting is easy. All you have to do is remember to call 211. If you are an adult, if you're a child, if you are in church, in your community group, wherever you are, once you are aware there's a child who is in need of care and protection, just be the one and call 211.
Government has been upping the ante on crimes against children. Recently, a new and more effective pathway was created for persons to make reports and get help relating to child abuse, trafficking, and other crime against children. Follow us to learn more in this next feature.
One of the biggest threats, and I speak in the context of being an MP who has 3 children's home and has personal experience, one of the biggest threats to Jamaica today is child abuse. The good thing is that we are on our way to improving it.
And the latest improvement is happening in the form of a helpline, one that's free, accessible 24 hours daily, and is easy to remember. The 211 helpline to report child abuse is now in effect. The Child Protection and Family Services Agency CPFSA has renewed its efforts to have a 3-digit telephone number to replace the existing 10-digit line 888-PROTECT, assigned to the National Children's Registry, the NCR. The NCR operates as the main point of contact for persons making reports of child abuse, neglect, and missing children. It also handles reports of child trafficking, which is handled by the National Task Force Against Trafficking in Persons, NATFATIP. But why was it so important for this renewed call to take effect, and why now?
We have always thought it would be easier if we have a 3-digit number that children could easily remember. Now, in 2020, when we were all affected by the COVID-19 pandemic, we saw a significant reduction in the number of reports coming in. We did not believe that it was a case where children are not being abused, because most abuse takes place in the homes. So we wanted to reach out to children. At that time, we were pushing our WhatsApp line. We were saying to children, if you feel unsafe, if you feel at risk, you can reach out to us on WhatsApp, because WhatsApp is free. And of course, we're encouraging persons to call our 888-PROTECT number. But you'd appreciate that 888-PROTECT is not so easy to remember, especially for young children. The time was right for us to launch a 3-digit line that would be easy for children to remember, easy for everybody to remember.
Still, the 888 Protect helpline has been in effect for quite some time now. So, what exactly will this new 211 line mean for its operation?
So the 888 Protect number is still in operation. What we actually did was put the 211 onto the 88 Protect, if that makes any sense. So if you call either number, they both terminate at the same place. So the calls will come into the same lines. But what we're hoping is that as time progresses, more and more persons will become aware of 211, and we will eventually phase out the 888 Protect.
And here's the best part about this new response to child abuse. There are designated officers who are armed with the right toolkit to manage these calls.
We already had a system at the National Children's Registry for manning the 888 Protect line. In addition to 888 Protect, we had a number of other lines that persons could call. So what we did was just to boost that system to ensure that when the calls come into 211, we would be able to handle them. So we have a set of trained registration officers. They're social workers, who are equipped to handle the calls when they come in. They're trained in how to handle various types of callers. They're trained with skills of assessment, and they would do the necessary referrals to the investigating partners.
These partners are required to initiate an investigation and provide the NCR with an update within 3 months. Furthermore, the NCR's contact center will be expanded to provide immediate psychotherapeutic response for children who may call for help. This is being done under the Public Sector Modernization Program through the ICT Expansion Program currently being rolled out by the Ministry of Finance's Transformation and Implementation Unit, TIU.
Anyone in Jamaica, Madam Speaker, can take up their phone and dial 211. A youth can be a partner in carrying the message to rescue our children.
And we do mean anyone, from any network, at any time.
We actually, met with the telecommunications providers, came to some agreement, and this is how we'll be proceeding in the interest of the nation's children. So the 211 is completely free, regardless of what network you're calling from.
Our nation's children are our priority, and this is being reflected in the CPFSA's targeted programs and services to respond effectively to the needs of vulnerable children and their families. The 211 helpline is just the latest step in the right direction. If you know of or suspect that a child is being abused, reach out to the CPFSA or call 211.
We are at the end of our journey through Jamaica Magazine for today, but be sure to join us again tomorrow for another show. Until then, there is more to watch on our website, jis.gov.jm, or YouTube channel. You can also find us on all the major social media platforms and through our mobile app that's Android and iOS compatible. On behalf of the entire production team, I'm Adrian Atkinson, reminding you that COVID-19 is still a keep. So get vaccinated and wear your mask. Till next time, keep safe.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.